Am I the asshole? For refusing to let my sil babysit my baby and being unwilling to hear her out? My husband and I had to be somewhere for our older child, so we asked my Mill if she could watch our 3-month-old son for a few hours. She said of course. Unfortunately, when we went to drop him off, she wasn't home and one of my husband's sisters, Jane, was instead. Apparently my Mill wasn't going to be home for a bit, so Jane agreed to watch our son for some time. I immediately said no because, well, Jane believes that babies don't feel anything. She thinks that they cry for no reason and we shouldn't respond to their cries ever for whatever reason. And that not responding won't have any effect on them. She thinks that anything we do to babies during this period of their lives will have absolutely zero effect on them in the future. She will often call them mindless too. My husband called his mom and we politely explained our concerns and then hung up because we were extremely busy already and now we had to find another babysitter as well. I figured that was it until Jane came over extremely upset and in tears, insisting that she's not a bad person and that she would never do anything to hurt any kid. She then accused me of discriminating against her because she doesn't want to have kids like everyone else in the family. I told her straight up that I don't give a crap if she wants kids of her own, but I don't like her thoughts on how to care for babies specifically. Instead of trying to understand me, she doubled down and said that her way of dealing with babies makes sense and that I'm wrong and I'm just extremely sensitive in nature, so of course I don't get it. She kept arguing with me about how to take care of my baby, so I just asked her to leave and she blew up on me. My husband even told her to calm down and that it's not like we're preventing her from seeing our kids altogether, but she just went "fuck you and you're dumb as kids" and left. Which okay? But my Mill is really annoyed with me because Jane is still very upset and I'm just wondering if I'm the AH. Like, I don't think I am, especially since no one lets her babysit for the same reasons, but I'm the first person to actually say no to her face and tell her why instead of making up an excuse, and perhaps I was too harsh. Not the asshole. The research into infant development is extensive and everything they experience is important. Tell Jane to do some actual research, and if she can find any science-based, peer-reviewed support for her view, you will at least listen. And tell Mill that you care more about your innocent child's well-being than her entitled adult child's hurty feelings. That you will slay dragons to protect your child, and that SIL is dangerous and any reasonable person knows it. Mill owes you an apology for planning to leave your baby with a child abuser. Not the asshole. Your Mill owes you a huge apology, and if I were you I wouldn't ask her to babysit again, as she has proven she is untrustworthy. She agreed to babysit, and then wasn't even there when you went to drop the baby off. WTF? And then she leaves your SIL there, the one who no one lets her babysit for the same reasons, to watch your baby, without asking you first. Stick to your guns. That family sounds crazy, and you were absolutely right with everything you did and said. Not the asshole. Fuck you and you're dumb as kids means that your kids never have to interact with her again. Why would she want to be around dumb as kids anyway? Sorry, SIL, sucks to suck. If she was my Mill, she'd be pissed, because I would never be leaving my child alone with her again. She would have lost all my trust in her judgment. Not the asshole. Your SIL is completely ignorant on infant care, and not because she doesn't have a child of her own. Specifically because she decided something makes sense to her, and that somehow negates all the actual research done. If she'd bothered to do any research, she would know that even not smiling at your baby will have a serious effect on their development. Nobody ignorant enough to think babies don't feel should ever be left alone with one. Sadly, if your Mill is defending her and thought it was okay to substitute Jane for herself without telling you, that means Mill is also no longer a safe babysitter. Not the asshole. Jane is negligent. That's what that is. It's planned negligence. And the fact that your Mill is okay with that is worrying. Not the asshole. And whoa, like, I'd never be comfortable leaving my kids with someone that flies off the handle when faced with a differing opinion. The fact that your Mill is okay with this says she'll 100% leave your kids with Jane just to undercut you and your spouse. MIL should be cut off from babysitting and you and your partner should be NC with Jane. Not the asshole. Thank God she doesn't want kids. She's a CPS case waiting to happen. You are a wonderful mother. Not the asshole here. Jane is. Jane's mother is. Who agrees to babysitting and then is not available? SMH boundaries and balls, you've got both. Not the asshole, your MIL just doesn't want to hear Jane wailing and complaining about her not being allowed to babysit, but so what? The alternative was for you to have left your baby with a person who'd happily shove him in a Skinner box and leave him to his own devices while he cried his head off for hours. Not the asshole, Jane believes that babies don't feel anything. She thinks that they cry for no reason and we shouldn't respond to their cries ever for whatever reason. This is a child neglect issue. She should not be trusted with children. Nta. She's not a person that should be left alone with children. Not the asshole. Why does she want to babysit so badly when she doesn't even seem to like children? Not the asshole, the fact that she thinks by putting trauma on a baby will have zero effects is stupid and disgusting. I'm glad that she doesn't want children because she would be a shitty mother hitting her children and thinking this won't affect them. Not the asshole. Jesus, those are genuinely frightening views to have about small human beings. Not to mention insanely scientifically ignorant. I personally think views that dangerous and repugnant should be harshly criticized. But I'm not a sociopath, so what do I know? Not the asshole, so she's not interested in having kids, yet still thinks her way of caring for babies is superior to yours? That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't want kids myself, so if I was ever asked to care for a baby I would make sure to follow every instruction the parents gave me. You can't trust that she follows your way of caring for your child, so you didn't want your child alone with her, that's all. And seems you were right considering she doubled down, proving that she wouldn't have cared for the child in a proper way. There is only one person that is TAH and needs to apologize, Jane. Not only has she shown how really ignorant she is about the needs of babies, but the complete disregard for how you choose to care for the little one on top of fuck you and your dumb as kids. I don't know what her deal is, but that's pretty insane behavior. Nta, for not risking your baby being harmed. Babies cry for a reason and not acting on this is dangerous, it's their only way to communicate. Your Sil is the crazy one. Studies have shown countless times she's wrong. I would not let someone so cold approach my children before they could talk if I were in your shoes. Not the asshole, she sounds like a person who has issues. It's great you seem to be compassionate, but never let her alone with your baby. Nta. I don't know how anyone can just dismiss a baby crying like that. Honestly, it sounds like she's a risk of giving the baby shaken baby syndrome. I wouldn't have even trusted her with my animals, let alone my kids. Absolutely not the asshole. Your children means you get to choose who gets the privilege of watching them. Your SIL sounds immature, not dangerous, but it's still 100% your decision who gets to spend time with your children. Not the asshole. Jane's views are just absolutely horrifying. Not the asshole, Jane is kind of dumb, so that would be enough for me to not want her to watch my baby. Not the asshole. In addition to all the other great points people are making, you need to talk with MIL and let her know that agreeing to babysit and then expecting someone else being fine without your agreement isn't reasonable. Why would you be the AH? You don't owe anyone time with your child, especially if that person is loud and proud about their belief in the importance of neglect when caring for children. It's incredibly weird that someone so open about not wanting kids or to respond to their needs in any way would make a big deal about not getting to care for one. Not the asshole, obviously, and do not ever give in to your gut feelings on this, because something feels weird here. Not the asshole. She's a danger to be around babies. She would never do anything to hurt any kid. Neglect is harmful. Not the asshole.